Hi, everyone. As Angela mentioned, I am the CEO of Pathless Productions. We're working on making a game subscription service called Ludare, really focused on tackling the problem of making indie game development sustainable. So if we look at entertainment, it's a very large, very attractive industry. If we break it into its big genres, games, movies, and music, we can see that games makes up a huge part of this sector, almost twice what movies and music are combined. If we look at what's driving this, just based off sales from Steam, which is the biggest PC distributor in the world, we can see that indies are playing a big part with each of those red squares being in a specifically indie game. But even the number one seller, Baldur's Gate 3, well, that was not an indie game. That was backed by a major group called Mattel, making stuff in the D&D world. Before this, they were an indie company making indie games in the same genre that helped them build their tool set to make that game. So how does an indie game actually get made? Well, it really starts when a team gets together and says, we've got this really cool idea for a thing we want to make. They go out and build a very basic example of it. And then once they verify that's working, they then build the full game. And when they verify, they're just verifying with themselves, their investors, their partners. And this potentially takes them 3 to 5 years to get a game out to market, costing almost $1 to $5 million between development and actual marketing the game to players, really making it nearly impossible for indie developers on their own to get their game to market. Our goal is to really take that traditional business or product development cycle, a prototype, MVP, and full product launch, and become that MVP space, where they can reach market in about half the time it currently takes them at a much lower cost to validate that it's working before they invest the rest of the time, the rest of the money to really get to market. If you wanted to imagine this in the landscape of current startups, in the current framework, if you were Uber, you would have to be in every major city in the US from launch to prove that you're working, rather than what they really did, which was 3 cars in New York with a mobile app. We want to make that scale of 3 cars in New York with a mobile app possible for indie developers. If we look at other entertainment fields, they figured this out. If you're looking at video entertainment, it started with movie theater. You have to make 90 to 2 hours of content, spend hundreds of millions of dollars marketing it to your audience to get them come to the theater to watch your movie. Then it moved to digital distribution, where I'm still making the same amount of content, still spending the same amount of marketing. But I've seen customers that are already in an ecosystem can watch it anywhere they want. And then we see the move to TikTok and YouTube, where anybody, anywhere with a phone, can make 2 minutes to 10 minutes of content, upload it, validate that it's working, and then make hundreds of hours of content on that to attract their audience. In the game space, we've started down that same path. We moved from brick and mortar. We had to launch this game in GameStop, spend hundreds of millions of dollars to develop 20, 30 hours of content, produce millions of CDs, ship it around the world, and then market to the audience, say, hey, come down to your local GameStop, buy the game, bring it home and play it. To digital distribution through platforms such as Steam, PlayStation Network, and Nintendo eShop, where you're still making the same amount of content, still doing the same amount of marketing, but I can download it directly to my device. To subscription services such as Game Pass, where I get access to a whole library, one fixed fee, and that includes a whole bunch of content. And we really want to bring in that YouTube style of, I can make a small amount of content, bring it to the market, prove it works, reinvest. So how does it actually work? As I mentioned, it's a subscription service. So players are paying a flat monthly fee, targeting about $10, to get access to a whole selection of games. This include complete indie games, as well as in development indie games, really the whole gambit, allowing them to play with minimal risk. The cost of them is not $20, $30 for a game that's halfway through development that might never complete. It's just the time to download, store it on my device, and time I spend playing. We as a platform take a 20% fee, which is less than many of these companies are currently paying to major players such as Steam. We handle the distribution like everybody else. How do we get the game from your development PC to the player's PC? But we also do marketing of both our platform and the content that's on our platform, which is something very few players in the space actually do. The developer, you pay out based on hours played. So how much of that player's time every month is spent in your game? That's how much money you're getting out of their subscription. Allowing them to capture their revenue, because again, the risk goes from me paying this big upfront fee to, hey, you're part of the system, I'm already in. Also allowing them to stretch their marketing because of those lower barriers to entry. As we mentioned, games is a huge industry. All up, it's $217 billion a year, with PC indie games being about $3.3 billion of that. And we believe within a few years, we can have about $300 million in annual revenue moving through our platform. So where are we now? So we've actually launched a web version of our platform where developers can integrate a plugin that integrates a very basic DRM process to make sure that they can own the game and that subscription is active. They can upload it to our service. Players can pay the flat monthly fee, download a game, play as much as they want. We're currently on track by the start of next year to about 10 games. We're targeting about 100 paying users by that point in time. We're going to raise our pre-seed of $400,000. We'll use that to grow through 2025 to about 50 games, 8,000 paying users, and raise a seed round of about $2 million, which will then get us through to the end of 2026. We want to have 150 games, 300,000 users, and raise a Series A of $5 million that would get us to a sustainable, profitable platform. So who are we that are making this? I myself am Matthew Stone. I worked in the industry for over 6.5 years at major companies such as 343 Industries and ZeniMax Online. I have my background in computer engineering from the University of Michigan, as well as my master's in entertainment technology from Carnegie Mellon University, giving me the technical skills needed to build this platform. And I also completed my MBA from Ross earlier this year, giving me the business skills I need to really build the business as well. We've got Steven Atha, who is our partner manager, who's worked in the industry for over 6 years. He's a USC graduate, has worked at major consulting groups such as Brave New Games and Team Beep Boop in the gaming industry. I've got Eric Avalos, who's our CCO, who's over 20 years in the industry at Gearbox Software, 343 Industries, and Artsuit Labs, really giving us the development insights we need to work with developers, but also as players ourselves, knowing what we want from that experience, that relationship. So, as we mentioned, we're going to be working towards raising our $400,000 pre-seed round at the start of the year. That's going to get us about 12 months of running the web platform to show growth, to show traction, securing us about 40 studio partnerships to help us grow that initial catalog of content, and get us to about 8,000 paying subscribers, really demonstrating the product market fit so we can go raise a larger seed round to help us grow even faster. Thank you for your time. As I mentioned, I'm Matthew Stone, the CEO of Pathless Productions. We're focused on developing Ludari, the game subscription service, to be the YouTube of gaming to help make indie development more sustainable.